All right. Check 1, 2. Check. This is going to be kind of weird at first, but this is the first attempt at doing a mobile recording of Gearing Up. Now, what do you mean mobile recording? You can probably hear that beep and that click. That would be, that would be my car. So, I won't get too far into why I'm doing this, or not why. Excuse me, I won't get too far into what prompted this, but, for the most part, it was just, I have a microphone that I can hook up to my phone. I have a lav mic that I can plug in. I was doing some video stuff for work, and I found it, and, it's mine. I forgot I even had it, but here it is, and I thought there's 20 to, oh god, road bumps. Maybe this is dangerous. No, I think we're good. No, there's 20 to 25 minutes a day where I sit in, not a day, in the morning and then in the evening, so almost an hour a day where I just sit in this car and I ride to or from work, and a lot of times I listen to podcasts or I listen to playlists or whatever, and I thought, I came up with this idea to kind of squeeze in an extra few minutes worth of an episode, and I also wanted to try this process, so I downloaded GarageBand on my phone, and I'm using this lav mic and one of the lightning adapters, and I'm plugged directly in, and I'm using the Voice Memos app, and I'm recording it here, and then I'm going to edit the whole thing on my phone, and I really just wanted to see if I could do this. Few reasons. I think the biggest one just being I'd like to make use of this time, and this 20 to 30 minutes, whether it's on the way to or the way from work, it's always nice to just chill. But I'll use some of that time to maybe be productive, get another episode out, talk to you guys about what you want. When in reality, I'm just driving down the road talking to myself, so I'm sure I look like a psychotic person. But this might turn out to be interesting. It might turn out to be rambling and annoying, and you guys don't like it, in which case we'll stop doing it. But, I figured if I could do this even once a week, and maybe we'll do it in the mornings. I'm doing it in the evening right now. I'm on my way home. But, maybe we'll try doing it in the mornings, and we'll do like a morning commute chat or something like that, where, I pull some topics from you guys, and then maybe we talk about it, or, I don't know. Q&A would be kind of hard because I hit record and set my phone down, so I'm, nothing in my hands right now. I'm driving. So, I don't know, we'll see how this goes, but I did reach out and ask to see if anybody had some topics, and I got a couple good ideas, so we'll hit on those, but, just a quick update. This is technically not Season 3, this is kind of Season 2.5, I'm just dropping this in to see if I can do it, see if this process works, because if it does, then that gives me the opportunity with Season 3 to then maybe do once a week or every other week, do a bonus episode where I just come on here and chat and talk about whatever. So if it works, great. If not, we won't do it again, and this will just be an embarrassing little blip on my track record of episodes, and there are plenty of those. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of jump in and rant and talk about a few different things, and first of which is something that I've seen a little more recently, and that is this, this trend that I'm seeing. I wouldn't call it a trend. That's probably not the right word to use, but I'm seeing it a little bit more here and there, and it's this fight the algorithm. Everybody share, react to this post, and I'll share my favorite thing from your feed. Let's grow our community. And what I saw, and I've done that in the past, and it's always cool to see when people do, and I've always found some great accounts, but one of the things that I've noticed in the community is that everybody's kind of got their few accounts they interact with a ton. And then there's all these accounts that we all kind of follow, all the bigger accounts and stuff like that. So, it a lot of times it just turns into, and it may even be people that you don't ever talk to that are reacting, and it's like, okay, I'll shout them out, whatever. But, I saw it and I thought it was cool. Everybody was jumping on it. Sorry, I'm on a crappy part of the road. If you can hear that, I apologize. But no, I thought it was neat that everybody was kind of jumping on, and like this idea of grow the community, that's cool. But, I changed it up a little bit, and I'm not saying that what I did was better or worse or whatever, but I really wanted to focus on some of these like niche accounts that are really small that not a lot of people know about. I mean, there's people out there that have 100 or 110 followers that deserve 10,000. They're doing some really cool stuff, whether it's a maker putting out some really cool products, or just a hobbyist posting some really great pictures. Heck, I think shutterdoug just got up to like 1,000, I want to say, and that to me is nuts, because he should be at 5 or 10 or 20,000. I mean, like, his shots are great. And I've talked to him back and forth a few times. Cool guy. I don't know him well enough to say I know him, but I've talked to him, and he definitely has a good account. I mean, I not that he needs my approval or validation, but I really like his content, and there's people that have never seen him. And so the thing that I put out there is, let me know who your favorite accounts are under 500 followers, and I got a really great response out of that. There's some folks that came up 2 or 3 or 4 times, but still only had 400 or 500 followers or 300 followers or whatever it was. And then there were some totally unknown accounts, 110 people following them, and they've got some really great content. So I thought that was cool to share. And I got a couple followers out of it, and I think that's cool when we can help each other grow. But at the same time, like, again, my focus was really just, I want to find some of these smaller accounts that not enough people know about, and bring them to the surface. Because, when you talk about fighting the algorithm, I mean, having 5,000 followers and posting stuff and trying to fight the algorithm is one thing, but when you're at 100 followers and you just don't have enough people to give those awesome posts the activity or the interaction that they need, you're fighting an uphill battle. So I would challenge you guys to get out there, try to share some accounts that are smaller, really lift them up, and again, I think at the end of the day, if we're doing that, then that's growing the community and helping out some of these smaller accounts that are either new and just getting started, or maybe they've been grinding it out for a while, but they've just been kind of this hidden gem. I think those are the ones that are really gonna help the community grow, is by sharing accounts like that. So I think that's something I'm going to start doing, is not necessarily just who are your favorite, accounts to follow that have 500 or less, but I'm thinking like, show me your favorite maker with less than, 150 or 200 followers, or maybe I'll do a whole day of where do you get your wallets and other leather products. This is a billion leather makers out, leather makers, leathersmiths, leathermans. I don't know what the term is, but there's a bunch of makers out there that are really great with leather. I've worked with a ton of them, and they're all great, and I do my best to shout them out as often as I can. Hank makers, and even knife makers or hobbyists or whatever. There's plenty of accounts out there that deserve some sharing. So, long story short, if you have the opportunity to help grow some accounts and you really want to make the community grow and expand, I feel like that's where it starts. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm wrong, maybe this reacting to everyone's story is great, but I feel like, I guess my point is, I feel like the whole react to this post and I'll share, it's too easy for me to swipe up and hit the laughy face or the thumbs up or whatever, and then you share my post, and there's there's not much of an exchange there. Whereas putting someone on the spot to lift to mention some other account, I feel like is a lot better. Number one, it's got to be somebody they know and like and follow and can recommend. But it's also not like shameless self-promotion, which I think, I don't know. I think that, if we can help promote someone else is better. I don't know about that. But anyways, that's kind of my 2 cents on this whole React and let's help grow the community. That was just kind of on my mind over the last, 3 or 4 or 5 days, because I had seen it so many times. And I thought, man, if everybody really is this excited about growing the community, let's really do it. Let's grow in the right way. And I think that helps. That starts with helping out some of these smaller accounts. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? If you're listening back to this and you've got your 2 cents, jump on my Instagram, respond to a story, shoot me a DM, reply on a post, and just say, hey, I disagree, I agree, here's why. I'd like to get some conversation going. I think that would be kind of neat. But do you think, lifting up smaller accounts is a good thing? Do you think the reacting is what starts the conversation? I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of looking for input. I'm just speaking from kind of my experience and what I've seen. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. And what else is there to talk about? A couple of people mentioned Swiss Army knives, Victorinox. Let's talk about Saks. Just that whole thing. And number one, I thought it was kind of weird because it's like, I don't think I'm really an expert on that. I wouldn't even say I'm even like I would say I'm pretty novice at that. Like I just don't know enough to talk a whole lot about Swiss Army knives. I love them. I think there are some really good makers out there, modders, makers. I mean, both technically. There's a lot of people that do custom patterns and custom scales and stuff. Lately, I've really been enjoying Daily Customs or Daily Customs Shop. I don't know which one it is, but I think it's Daily Customs. They do like the 91 millimeter and the 58. I think it's 58. They do like the classic SD or the Rambler size scales, and then like the Pioneer size scales or like the Tinker. And they like, you pop off the factory, the red scales or whatever color it is, and they have what is it? I'm hoping I'm not pausing this. Okay. You snap those off, and then they've got the titanium or brass or whatever, and you do a little epoxy. You snap them on and clamp them for overnight or whatever, and they're good. And that opened up a bunch of doors for me in terms of just what I could do myself and the combinations that I could create. It's definitely got my wheels turning about starting to modify Swiss Army knives. I'd like to tinker, no pun intended there with the Tinker Victorinox model. Anyways, I'd like to give it a shot. I've got to do some digging and figure out things like pivots and drilling out the pivots on the factory ones, and what do you use and what sizes, and I just don't know a lot of that stuff, so it's sketchy for me to try to just go for it. I don't want to waste some Swiss Army knives for no reason. So definitely something that I've been thinking about, especially with getting into some of these easier mods when you're just swapping scales. But I definitely like to learn to do like Torx conversions and even building like custom layers. I'm really particular. There's not enough modders out there that are doing 84 millimeter stuff. I think Dean EDC does a few, or he has in the past. I know Beaver Blade Works, and he's done some. I keep bugging Brassworks 875 FPS. I keep bugging him to do an 84 millimeter, and I know he's working on it, or he has worked on it. But there's just not enough people doing 84s, And I find that for a true everyday carry, it's got to be an 84 for me. The 91 or 93 millimeter, whatever they are, like the Pioneer length, it's just too long, and it doesn't fit in my wallet / pocket organizer well enough, and so I'll find myself carrying it a little bit, but not truly every day. Whereas when I've gotten a hold of like a custom 84, I love throwing it in the pocket slip and just rolling with it. More recently, I'm trying to think of what I've got. Like, so right now, customs wise, I've got a daily customs Tinker, I think is what it is. Can't remember exactly. But I've got an aluminum set of scales I'm not a huge fan of, and a Damascus inlay for it. And then I've got a custom 84 millimeter with the Warncliffe Dragonfly blade. Gets a lot of likes. I carry it pretty much every day. That is until today when I carried the new Rambler that I've got. I actually did the work on this one. I'll call it quote unquote work. I found some brass scales, kind of like the daily customs ones. They're not daily custom scales, but I found some brass machined scales, and I etched a pineapple on one side, of course, and then black washed them and darkened them up quite a bit, and then mounted them. And I'm absolutely loving it. It's got a nice little heft to it, and I still have it, the classic micarta that I got from Twiceborn, and I love it. But I don't like the classic pattern as much as I like the Rambler. So if I'm going super simple, super lightweight, that's the one I choose. But for more of an everyday, I definitely find myself jumping to the Rambler a little more often. I like having the tiny little Phillips head and the bottle opener. I think it kind of covers more bases for me. Of course, I probably don't need 9/10 of the stuff that's on it, but it is what it is. But yeah, I think there need to be a lot more modders that do 84 millimeters, and I guess, I don't know if they're harder to work on. Again, I come from a place of total ignorance when it comes to modifying Swiss Army knives, but I don't know if they're harder to work on. I don't know if they're way more expensive to work on, or if more people just prefer the Pioneer and I'm weird, which could absolutely be the case. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my 2 cents on Swiss Army knives for what it's worth. I mean, not that exciting, but people asked me to comment on it, and I don't know. Maybe the next couple months, weeks, whatever, I'll grab some junk Swiss Army knives, something cheap, and I'll start working on drilling them out and look into the pivots and all that stuff that I need, and maybe I'll reach out. I think there are some Swiss Army knife modders that, and this is again coming from a place of either I don't know because I haven't asked, or I'm just assuming, but I feel like the openness when it comes to modding knives is starting to close off. I don't think there's quite as many people wanting to share secrets, because a lot of people are trying to do it, and that's why I've kind of backed off a little bit. I take what work comes to me, but I'm not actively pushing. But I feel like with Swiss Army knives or Victorinox modding, there's a little bit more of a closed off community. There's a lot fewer people that will give out their secrets, and I don't know if I'm wrong. John, Andy, Dean, somebody holler at me and tell me I'm crazy and that you'd love to help me out and teach me how to do everything. I would do some digging on the internet, but I don't want to trust strangers. I'd much rather trust folks that I've talked to before, I've worked with, and I want to get started doing things the right way. But I don't know, I guess maybe that's part of the reason I've held off from it is I get this sense of a little bit more closed community, or closed part of the community. Again, maybe I'm nuts, maybe I'm crazy, But if you're in that area of expertise and you know how to do it and you think I'm nuts, tell me. Or if you've got look, if it's I don't tell everybody how to do it and share all my secrets because this is how I feed my family, listen, that's perfectly fine. And I'm not saying you give away the farm, but if it's just I don't want to share secrets because I do these and you don't, screw you. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Sort of like the last topic. Like, what do you guys think? If, again, hit my DMs, reply to a story, comment on a post, something. But if you've got some input on, Swiss Army knife modding or what you'd like to see, or somebody that's doing a really cool job that's not getting a ton of attention, let me know. Holler at me, and I'd be happy to share in any way that I can. So, yeah, this is actually kind of fun. It's kind of neat. I am coming home. I'm almost in my driveway, but that's my commute. Thanks for riding along with me. I drive on a bunch of back roads, so there's never traffic. There's nobody. The only thing I have to watch out for is animals like hogs and deer and the occasional alligator. That's only happened once, and he was in the middle of the road, like I was coming up, so that was my windshield wipers. Didn't mean to do that. Anyways, so that was my commute. I'm pulling in the driveway now. Let me know what you guys think of this. Is this the kind of episode you think would be kind of neat to hear once a week, or maybe even more? Would you guys like this, rambling commute series? I don't know. We'll have to think of a fun name for it. Maybe we'll do like the, from the road, or a chatting in cars while commuting. I don't know. We'll come up with something. But if you guys like this idea, let me know. As always, be sure to like, rate, subscribe, comment, share, all of that stuff. It really helps us out. And, as far as where you can listen to it, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, gosh, everywhere you can imagine. I just recently changed over. This is another reason I'm doing this. I just recently changed over to a new host that's going to give me a little bit better analytics and let me do some fun things. So, again, listening and support is super helpful. So thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you in the next one. And also let me know the audio quality on this. If it's good, bad, crappy, don't do it again. Get a better mic, whatever. But anyways, appreciate the continued support. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Peace.